So one of the questions I got a lot today is, where do you turn when the markets start to pull back? And we talked about this in the closing chat, and I want to cover a little bit about two sectors to keep an eye on and why. Now, we're going to juxtapose some of the more popularly traded futures contracts to some of their larger sectors. So we had this sell-off in the S&P. Now, the thing to remember about this sell-off, and we're going to focus on the daily time frame for this conversation. The thing about the sell-off on the S&P is it's coming in a market that's already in distribution. This particular market trend is distribution. We can see that further confirmed by the indicator right here telling us, yep, that's distribution. This is chop. We can see the range that we're traveling within. It's not a trend, but it's going to have certainly some of the influence of the trend that preceded it. So for the most part, it's easy to focus on overbought, oversold buys, or maybe if we think we're turning back into an uptrend, pullbacks. The pullbacks might be a little too soon, a little presumptuous. However, what is not, let's flip over to another sector, consumer discretionary, and then juxtapose that with the NASDAQ. NASDAQ is choppy. Consumer discretionary is starting to look a little bit stronger, more consistency in the 21 and 13 exponential moving averages. And take a look at the trade flags here, where the NASDAQ is yellow. You'll see here that the XLY is green. Better trend, still showing the signs of a pullback type of market. In other words, it's pullback to support, and then we can look for a move higher. So this is a part of the NAS. In many ways, it's outperforming. What's my other sector that I'm keeping an eye on? And gang, what's the conversation here? How do you focus on, especially on a day like today, which I call a blue light special day, how do you focus on those sectors that are outperforming? Well, first of all, you've got to acknowledge what's in chop. Let's go back to, say, the Dow. What's in chop and what is not. So here's IYT. By the way, here's another sector that I've been in and out of heavily, SMH. When you understand what is outperforming within the broader averages with a index sector stock approach, then you know where to stack your watch list with names that are going to have a higher degree of predictability. Trends, up or down, mostly up though, are going to be more predictable than chop and actually more predictable than downtrends. So let's take a look at that IYT. And this is where we start to go shopping. Now, in the premium video, I'll cut to a little bit more of how I start to break down these. And it has a lot to do with, here we go. It has a lot to do with, and where's my flexi grid? There we go. It has a lot to do with a layout like this. Or, quite frankly, you can even use a watch list like this. And so now we can start to cherry pick relative outperform, not just the relative outperforming stocks and sectors. So again, index sector stock. Is the index relative outperforming? It's in chop. Is Amazon a relative outperformer? It's in chop. Is Home Depot? It's in chop. But what isn't? McDonald's. What isn't? Nike, Lowe's, Starbucks. And the XLY, which is actually going to be better by comparison than the XLK or even the XLC. Let's take a look at the XLC here real quick. So this is what we talk about when it comes to finding what's going to perform the best. I've stayed clear of the XLC. There's no sense in really putting a lot to work here. Let me show you the XLK. Again, I really, for the most part, steered clear of even the XLK. You'll notice there's a couple outperformers here, CRM, NVIDIA, but NVIDIA takes us right back to the awesomeness that has been the SMH. And again, there's a lot more to like within the SMH. When you understand the power of sector analysis within your futures trading, and then you start to apply a more multi-asset type approach, the entire market is your playground, okay? So that's a big lesson, I think, when we look at the price action for today and where we can get opportunistic. Hope that helped. I'll see you in the next update.